Hello, my name is Gregory. This is my solution to Project 3 with audio, where we were to implement the banker algorithm, which prevents two or more processes from entering the deadlock state. And here I implement the banker algorithm with a few properties, including number of processes, number of resources, and an array for available and two-dimensional arrays for the max claim per process and allocation of currently allocated resources per process. Okay, let's go through some of the code. So here we just have a need less function. Just basically checks if a process P can finish with the current free resources. And we have an free resources array that we initialize, and it checks that. And if it returns true, then that means that process can finish, of course. And then we have a um, is safe state method. And what this method here does is it just checks if every process in this state can finish, which means that the state is safe. But if there's a one process cannot finish, then this is not considered a safe state. So we just look through our processes, and we check if they are able to finish here. And if we have a Boolean progress variable, and we've initially set it to false. But then if we realize doing looping through each process, we realize that a process is able to finish, then we set it to true. But if we enter one process where pro- one process is unable to finish, then progress will remain false, and then from there we will return false, or if not, then we will return true. And we have our request method, which basically a process requests a resource and then an amount of a resource. And then if they're available, or if there are too many or not enough available, or too many the amount is too much compared to what's available, then the request is denied. And then also if the granted those requests will result in it safe state being false, then we will reject that, and we will return those items, so those resources, back to the resource in question. And then we have here just a simple release method where it basically just releases the resources back to the resource allocation matrix. And then we have our interactive state here. And what I'll do now is just run the code, and we'll just see what the results are. So I'm just using the data from the Zybooks here. Okay, so this is our initial state. Okay, so I'll do the first request. Okay, and you can see here, process zero requests resource one for one copy. And then you can see here there was, so process zero request resource one copy. So he's allocated the one copy of process one. Do we want to continue? Yes. We'll do the next request. Okay. So here, process two requests resource one and two copies, and as again, process two requests two copies, and so that can be granted and is allocated. Then yes. And then next request. So granting this request would enter enter or lead to a deadlock state. And with the implementation of the banker algorithm, we avoid the deadlock state, and this request is therefore denied. And so that is my solution to project 3. Thank you.